According to reports, Nicolas Maduro, yes, that Nicolas Maduro has allegedly been captured and transferred to the United States, where he is now being held in a New York detention facility, which raises several immediate questions, such as how and why? And why does this feel like a rejected Fast and Furious script? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
This is
back
Ashili
to
reaction.
the channel Action Global Geopolitics Meets Saturday Morning Cartoon Energy. If you thought 2026 was going to calm down, congratulations, you are very optimistic and very wrong. So today's headlines sound like it was written by an AI that drank 3 energy drinks and watched too much cable news. Maduro in custody at the New York detention center as Trump says the US will run Venezuela. Hear it again. Maduro in custody at the New York detention center as Trump says the US will run Venezuela. Because at no point in my education did a teacher say, by the way, one day the president of Venezuela will allegedly be in Brooklyn and an American president will say, yeah, we will just run the country now. That sentence alone violates at least 3 international treaties and 2 group chats. According to reports, Nicolas Maduro, yes, that Nicolas Maduro has allegedly been captured and transferred to the United States, where he is now being held in a New York detention facility, which raises several immediate questions, such as how and why? And why does this feel like a rejected Fast and Furious script? Imagine being a correction officer in New York that morning. You show up to work thinking, all right, another normal day. All right, another normal shift. Coffee, bagel, and your supervisor goes, okay, so you are guarding the president of Venezuela. Sir, this is Wendy's. Now the details are, how do we put this? Extremely dramatic, extremely unclear. Report described a U.S. operation involving military assets, rapid extraction, and enough secrecy to make a Marvel movie jealous. Somewhere, a Pentagon planner said, let's keep this low-key. And someone else replied, great idea. Let's do it at night. Shut off electricity and fly him to New York low. Low-key. This was less covert operation and more season finale. Maduro arrives in New York. Now imagine Maduro landing in New York, not Paris, not The Hague, not some secret island base, New York, the city where someone will absolutely recognize you on the street and say, yo, aren't you that guy from the news? Maduro allegedly being processed like officer. Name? Maduro Nicolas. Maduro. Officer, long pause. I'm gonna need my supervisor. And yes, reportedly, he is now being held pending legal proceedings. This is where geopolitics meets the DMV. And then, because this story did not yet have enough chaos, Donald Trump stepped up to the microphone and say, and says the United States will run Venezuela. Run it, not support a transition, not assist international efforts. No, no, no. Run it like it's food truck. Like someone said, hey, Venezuela's system crash. And Trump replied, have you tried turning it off and back on? He frames this as temporary, of course, which historically is what everyone says right before the history books start sweating. Trump also mentions American oil companies returning to Venezuela because nothing says this is purely about democracy, quiet like, and also just real quick. We will be needing the oil somewhere. An economist fainted. Somewhere else, a cartoon bald eagle put on sunglasses. International reactions has been, let's call it emotional, diverse. Some countries say this is illegal. Others say it's dangerous. The United Nations reportedly scheduled an emergency meeting, which is diplomatic language for, okay, who let this happen? Russia and China were not thrilled. Latin American leaders were divided. Law professors collectively whispered no. Because capturing a sitting head of state and declaring management rights over their country is not a gray area. It is a neon orange area with hazard tape. So what happened now? Court cases, diplomatic chaos, a lot of press conference where no one answered the question that was asked. And somewhere in Venezuela, a government official is staring at the phone thinking, so who is in charge right now? Meanwhile, America wake up, check their phones and say, wait, we are running what? Look, regardless of politics, ideology, or opinion, this story is proof that reality has officially stopped asking for permission. If this were a movie, critics will say it was unrealistic. But here we are. So subscribe, because at this point, staying informed is basically a survival skill. And remember, if your week feels out of control, at least you didn't wake up to find out your country got acquired.